Right, so hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is a little extra special because we have finally built our first ever gaming PC and it is all white, exactly like I wanted it to be. Uh, Building a PC and having to play all the latest games has been a dream of mine since forever, and to have finally achieved it feels very rewarding because this whole process required a lot of extensive research. I had to check the compatibility of all the components, nitpick at each individual component, and then watch so many PC guides to get it all right. So after having done that, we finally have the build up and ready. So for those who are new here, my name is Tushar, the channel name is Sleepy Rogue, and I would like for you to stay along and watch this special journey of mine where I try to capture the whole process and share it with you. Just to give you a glimpse, this was the first iteration of my gaming laptop, which was with poor cable management, as you can see. But now, this is what we have, a two monitor gaming setup with some nice specs. And the specs are like all white gaming PC, as you can see, the motherboard being MSI B650M, a micro ATX build. We have 32 gigabytes of CL30 RAM, 2 terabyte SSD, Ryzen 9 7900 X3D for that extra performance. We have a 850 watt power supply, the Gaming Beast RTX 4070 Ti Super, and the liquid cooler AIO. So let's begin. Also, this was very delicate and surprisingly very heavy. I thought it would be lighter, but yeah, it was surprisingly heavy. So yeah, we'll carefully place it on top of that non-static sheet and gently lift that flap. There will be a click and you can just move it up as gently as possible. Next, we'll just open up our Ryzen processor, a beautiful looking processor, and again, it surprisingly is not as light as I thought it was. So make sure that the arrow is pointing to the left when you put the chip on the motherboard. I know this can be very stressful, but it's fairly easy. I was very worried about this step being a disaster, but you gently place it and also wiggle it slightly to make sure that it's there in the correct way and it's not loose before you tighten the flap. So yeah, once it is there, just take your time and you'll have to press slightly harder and the black plate will easily just come out. So now your processor is in place. So we will unbox our RAM and we'll place it in the slots number 2 and 4 for those dual channel speeds. So DIMM slots 2 and DIMM slots 4. It starts from the near the processor side, so that's the second slot that I've put it in, and this will be the fourth slot. And if you press it right, you'll hear a click. That means your RAM is in place. You can also wiggle it a bit to make sure that it's fine. This is where I will put the SSD. Also, I knew that SSDs were small, but it was very compact, and I had not really had no idea that it would be that small. So first we'll unscrew it, get that thing out, and we will place that teeny tiny 2 terabyte 7400 megahertz SSD. It's fairly simple to do that too. Just put it in that and just use a small lever to click it in place. Next we will take the plastic wrap out so that the thermal pad will help our SSD from not being too hot while we're gaming all those demanding games, and obviously tighten it up. Obviously make sure to subscribe to the channel because that will help your support will help me a lot, and I'll keep coming up with more content. So yeah, you are probably better off placing your chassis and then putting your motherboard inside. So we do that, and there are 9 slots, so we have to put the motherboard in and screw them all up so that its motherboard is in place and is tight enough. Once that is done, over here I'm just assembling my AIO. This specific AIO did not come pre-assembled, so I'll have to do it, but it was fairly easy. They had 3 fans, they had 12 screws, and they are thumb screws, so you don't really need anything to tighten it up. I just went an extra mile and used that to tighten it properly. We also get external fan connectors, so 3 fans can be connected, which is basically the EIO fans, and it will be redirected to one channel. So that's what this is, and also some more connectors for the RGB, which can go directly to our hub. RGB is the one with 3 pins, and the fan is the one with 4 pins in most scenarios, from what I know. So yeah, we'll connect it all up, nice and easy. Also, this setup took me a lot of time to build. I basically finished it at 6:30 a.m. So I was spent all my night building it, but it was very rewarding and I feel very happy. Right, so next step is to basically placing that AIO into place and screwing it up on top of the motherboard. So once that is done, it's basically, again, all the 12 screws will go in and you'll tighten it up into place. Right, so once it is tightened in place, the next part is to actually install that CPU block. So it's different for AMD and a different mode for Intel, but it's all, the instructions are written in the manual. You'll get the 2 pins for our AMD or AM5 processors. So apply those into a horizontal fashion. I am not using, you do get thermal paste with the AIO. I'm MX4 CPU cooling shell. Once that is done, peel it off and clip it in place. Next up, power supply, because your PC needs all that juice. So I was also very afraid because one of the pins, I thought was missing a pin, the connectors, but it wasn't really, so it was all good. That's for our motherboard, a 24-pin connector. It's all labeled, so it's very easy, few simple steps, and it's fully modular, so you don't need everything. This is the CPU cable. I have 2 of those to allow for overclocking, so I'm putting those in. And finally, a 16-pin connector, which is very good because you don't need multiple connectors and it plugs directly and supplies power to your GPU. So once that is done, we will put it all in, and it is time to screw your power supply into place. Fairly easy. Just take a screwdriver and tighten those 4 screws, which will probably be at the bottom. Make sure that the fan is facing down and not up, because it needs to pull that cooler in. Once that is done, I am here connecting the Type-C connector of my chassis and also the front panel connector. So that's for USB. The first one was for USB-C. This one at the bottom is the HD audio, again connected to my chassis. And then finally, after all the connectors are done, including the motherboard and the CPU and everything, final piece, our graphic card, which is again an RTX 4070 Ti Super with 16 gigabits of RAM. Satisfying peeling it off. Yep, make sure you peel all of those off to prevent it from overheating. Before applying here, I'm just checking that what number of slots I need to take it off. So that would be slot number 2 and 3 from the chassis. That is where the GPU will fit. So we'll take those screws, or we'll unscrew, we'll take the external bits out, and it is time to click the GPU in. There you go. So once the GPU is clicked into place, you can also use the GPU mount, which comes inside the graphics card, and tighten the screws and place the power supply for the GPU. Now once I clicked it, as you can see, there are no fans running, so that's a problem which I fixed later on, but I got a signal, so that's a good sign. And this is how my GPU looks. This small Zotac thing was presented with the GPU. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one, where I will cover where you can actually, or what is the process after you've built your PC. So yeah, thanks for watching.